Hey everybody, welcome back to the infinite regression. Oh man, look at how infinite it is. Look at way back here. Anyway, we could spend all of our time here, or we could play video games. Let's do that instead. Today we're going to play a game called Nine Parchments, and this one comes to us from Frozen Byte. And you know and love Frozen Byte already because they made Trine. And it's funny, we've had 4 Trines, and I don't know about you, but I think like that they could make 9 more Trines, and if they're all equally good, I'm on board. I'm there. I'm down for all the Trine that you got. Anyway, so yeah, this one, Nine Parchments, it is kind of part of the Trine universe, sort of, because it has the whole Academy of Magicness. I forget what it's called. Literally just playing this game and already forgot what the Academy was called. Anyway, it is called an Academy. I know that much. Anyway. So the thing is, the academy gets attacked, its spell book gets scattered, and you are supposed to go find it. Now, you can play this game solo. You can play it cooperatively with up to 3 other people. And this is very, very different from Trine. Trine is very much like slow, plotting, figure it out, puzzle your way across, use each of the 3 character types in unique ways in order to combine their efforts and solve problems. That's the Trine way, and it's very effective, which is why they could make an infinite number of Trines and people will still buy them so long as they remain good, which, lucky for us, they have. Nine Parchments, on the other hand, has some mixed reviews, unfortunately. And let me tell you the truth. I do not go a courting what other people have to say about games, but I was just looking into who made it and when it came out and all of that. And in so doing, I came across some of the mixed feelings that people have about this game. And I generally like to form my own opinions because, hey, I sometimes love games that other people hate. I sometimes hate games that other people love. And that's just the way it goes. I'm always a little suspicious when everybody is like, oh, I love all the games. We all love this same game. I'm also very suspicious when everybody's like, we all hate this. It just smacks of groupthink, and I worry about that all the time. Like, am I just hopping on a bandwagon? So, while I know how other people feel about this, I am trying to form my own opinion, but I will admit that it kind of threw me to start off thinking, okay, what don't people like about this? And I don't know because I didn't read their reviews, so I'm only guessing, but I can give you several possibilities as to why people have mixed feelings about this. But before we do any of that, let's just talk about the game in general. So, you are young wizard, male or female, young mage, and you start off with a limited number of spells that you can switch between. You have this lightning spell, a spell that deals massive damage, but you blow through your mana very quickly. You have a healing spell, which you can cast on the ground, but then you have to stand inside the magic ring to get the effect. And then you can also cast a purple spell, like a magic missile kind of a spell. Anyway, and then you have to switch between your 3 spells rather than, different characters switching spells to get their different effects. And that makes all the difference. So the question then becomes like, how does it work? How does it actually work in the real world? And the answer to that is a little bit clunky at first. It's a little hard to get used to, but eventually you do start to get used to it, and then you start zipping through, and you're like, okay, all right, I'm making my way. There's not a ton of games exactly like this. Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, I kind of get what's going on. It's a little Diablo-esque. No, not really. Or you look at it, you're like, oh, literally every bridge I cross crumbles. It's got to be like Bastion. No, it is not like Bastion, other than the fact that you can fall off the world and drown in like practically no water whatsoever. Yeah. And it's also kind of hard to tell because there are parts where you have to go and wade in the water, but it's shallow water. But also, some of the water that you drown in looks shallow, so it's hard to tell which water is deadly and which water is not. Kind of problematic. Shades of everything that people complained about with GTA before they made it the water swimmable in San Andreas. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, there are things like that are a little annoying, but also this isn't like a lot of games that you have played. It's a little twin sticky, honestly. It's a little twin stick shootery. Which twin stick shooter meets RPG? Oh, okay, that sounds fun. By the makers of Trine. Oh, that sounds awesomely amazing. I definitely want to play that, right? Well, it's okay. It's okay. Like that's how I feel about it in general. It's okay. There are things about it that drive me crazy, like the dash move, okay? In the gameplay footage, you will not see me using the dash move very much. Why? Because it's too easy to dash off the edge of the world and die. And unlike a lot of games where you would, little ding, I'm burning CDs in the middle of my game review. What are you up to? Anyway. Regardless, fact is, ladies and gentlemen, that yeah, when you dash, there's a possibility you could dash off the edge of the world and just die, which I did multiple times before I learned, hey, don't dash anymore. Which that's kind of sad. Why are you gonna have a dash mechanic if it's so fatally flawed? Like, either you have to like uh nerf the edges of your world where you can't fall off them anymore, because there are plenty of really good games where you can't fall off the world. And also, in Nine Parchments, it's pretty bad to fall off the edge of the world because you only really have two lives. Because you've got your life, and then you get what they call like a last chance. And then after that last chance, that's it. You're dead. So dash twice and you could be done, and then you have to restart from your last checkpoint, which sometimes are massively far behind the place where you died, even though you're not even that close to a new checkpoint. Anyway, these are the kinds of things that drive you crazy and make you think, oh, I'm starting to have mixed feelings about this game. Now, there are some cool things about it because, like, the different creatures that you meet will have different powers, be they ice-based, fire-based, etc., which means also they're going to have different weaknesses that you can exploit. And a lot of them, you have to break through a shield, and that shield will be color coded based on the type of magic that they use to create the shield. And so you can use any other color of magic to break it, except for green, because that's for healing. But aside from that, you can use anything else. And also, here's a fun thing that you can do. Is that thing that you have seen in so many anime, where like there's a blast of energy and then like the hero dude blasts his own blast of energy against the blast of energy that was blasted by the bad guy, and then you have to like duel it out over whose blast of energy is going to be the supreme blast of energy. You can do that and reflect people's things back on themselves, and force people backward with the power of your blast as opposed to theirs. There's some pretty fun stuff that you can do with it. And I'm not going to say, like, oh, it's not really that fun. Like, no, a ton of things in this game are super really fun. They genuinely are. And they are elements of the gameplay that are just pure fun. The twin stickiness, the shootiness, that's all. It's pretty fun. Yeah. But you do meet a lot of the same type of monsters because like they can't give you too many different things, so you get like different colors of the same thing. It's kind of so a different color of the same enemy that you've already beaten. So this one's a fire version of that ice guy that you just beat up. Things like that where it starts to feel a little bit samey, where you're like, didn't I really beat this level? And also the fact that literally every bridge you cross will crumble. Like, it loses its effect. Normally, if you're in an RPG, like, that when you cross a bridge, it might crumble. We get it. We know the tropes. But, like, it can't be every bridge. It cannot be every bridge. Come on, guys. Not every bridge. That's not how any world I know operates. Like, my God, they got to get some sort of infrastructure bill passed because their bridges are in great disrepair. Swear to God. Anyway, dumbest thing I've ever said. Fact is that the bridge is constantly crumbling. It's like you're watching a movie and you hear someone give a phone number that starts with a 555. Like, you want to be swept away. But then someone sticks in something stupid and you're like, oh, that's right. I'm enjoying a piece of mediated entertainment, and I am not, in fact, in this world that was created for me to enjoy. Like, you hate that. You hate that. It's like your phone going off in the middle of the best part of a thing you're watching. Like, you don't want it. You're like, please stop. I'm being swept away. I don't need anything to intrude into this place while I'm being swept away. Anyway, yeah, the constant bridge crumbling. There's a name for that, by the way. It's called, oh geez, what is it called? Suspension of disbelief. That's what we theater folk call it. The suspension of disbelief. You want to suspend your disbelief. The part where you're like, there's not really magic and I'm just looking at pixels on a screen. You want to believe in the world of the game. That's the fun of playing the game. But when hanky nonsense happens and you're like, oh God, it drives you crazy. I will, on the other hand, I will give full kudos to the game for not making me fight giant spiders. At no point did I fight giant spiders, and I think that is admirable. Like, do you know how stupid it is to fight giant spiders in so many games? Like, I'm tired of it. Look, dragons I get. Like, dragons if dragons existed, they would be an actual pestilence requiring great heroism to take them down. We can all agree. Giant spiders. Come on. Like, I just can't. I can't with the giant spiders. Am I the only one? Am I crazy with my hatred of giant spiders? I don't like the real ones either. Oh, I know they eat the bad insects, but they themselves are bad insects. And yes, I know they're not technically insects, they're arachnids, which is a different genus. Anyway, stop. Basically, Nine Parchments did not make me fight giant spiders, and so I appreciate that very much. So, let's just recap. Too long, didn't read. Maybe you fast forward to this part and you're like, he's finally getting to the point. Good call. Good call, friend. Um, so, good graphics. Plus. Absolutely. You know, interesting gameplay that you're not going to find in every game. That's a plus. Some gameplay mechanics straight up don't work. That's a minus. The crumbling bridges take you right out of the game and into, like, what are they thinking with this many crumbling bridges? You know, it's like the first time you heard Metallica's Saint Anger and you're like, oh, that's an interesting choice. Before you're like, no, this is terrible. This needs to stop. Anyway, yeah, it's a little bit like that. There's elements of, okay, cut it out in this game, which is why I can see people didn't like it as much. Because ultimately, is it as good as Trine? No. And because it was brought to us by the same people who brought us Trine 1, Trine 2, Trine 3, and Trine 4, and all of their DLC, we cannot help but measure it against its predecessor, and it doesn't measure up quite as well. It's unfortunate because it is a pretty fun game. It's pretty fun. It's not going to be anybody's favorite game. Not unless they don't own a lot of other games, and all the other games they own are worse. That is the circumstance under which this is someone's favorite game. Which could happen. I could see that happening. But, like, yeah. Anyway, it's not my favorite game. It's not my favorite game made by these people, and I can't help but feel that way about it. And I think ultimately that's the real reason for the mixed feelings about Nine Parchments. Anyway, let me put a score on it. This is going to take me a minute. Time will pass. I have to consider my feelings on this. Okay, look at the time. Look at the time right here. Whatever time it was before, it is now 9:52. So time has passed, friends. Time has passed. I have considered my feelings. And thought probably way too much about this. Because I want to be fair. I want to be fair to a game that has a lot of fun things going for it, but also can be a little bit annoying and also does not measure up to the promise of its ancestors. So, like, all of that wrapped into one a spicy burrito, we can give it no score other than a 5 out of a possible 7 Knights from Trine, because we cannot not compare this to Trine. We can't. We just can't. Because we played Trine first, didn't we? We all did. We all did. Like, nobody played Nine Parchments first. No one in the world. Find me one. We all played Trine first. And we're like, wow, what a cool world and a cool way to make a game where, like, everybody plays a part and everybody is important, and at no point is something pointless or, doesn't go anywhere. Like all the game mechanics combine into one larger whole. And like it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of gamesmanship, and we love it. Like we love Trine. We do. I'm just speaking for us as a human race. Humans, we love Trine, do we not? Yes, we do. And so, that being the case, we also enjoy Nine Parchments. It's fine. It's fine. But it's 5 out of 7 because we can't help but expect more. Ugh, too long. Too long. Cut this in half. Should have done shorter. Apologies. I used to do these way too long. I'm trying to cut down. I'm trying to keep them to like 10 minutes. Failure. Anyway, if you hung in the whole time, kudos to you, friend. Kudos to you. Anyway, that'll do it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.